two different boats that you can get there. There's one that goes direct to Santiago. The other one pretty much goes to everywhere else on the lake. So the first stop you go to is Santa Cruz. The second stop is a little village called San Juan, which is a place that I'm going to be going on this trip, and somewhere that I lived for a short while. Then after that you've got San Marcos, which is where all the yoga is, all the vegetarians like to hang out there. And then you've got San Juan, which is where I'm going to be going tomorrow. That's where a lot of the weaving cooperatives are. And then after that you've got San Pedro, which is kind of the biggest place after Panajachel. They have a market there. It's kind of the party place to go to around the lake. So we're going to be going tomorrow to San Juan, San Pedro and Santiago with hard travel. So I'm on the boat going to San Marcos. This is the reason why you want to take the boat in the morning, because in the afternoon it's not good. So we arrived in San Marcos. Very excited to be back here. Got rather a lot of stuff with me, which isn't so fun on these cobbled streets. But we're just going to go and find something to eat. Well, I need to eat anyway. We're going to take a tuk-tuk up into the mountain because we're staying at a place called Eagle's Nest for the next couple of nights, which is a yoga kind of studio retreat centre. I'm really looking forward to chilling out there. Just trying to order food in Circle's Cafe, but the guys are like so stoned. They're like, what? We're speaking in Spanish to them as well, and we're like, I asked for quesadillas, which is not a difficult word to understand. I had to point to it in the menu. I also just had a really quite embarrassing experience on a bus. I got in the bus and this guy kept on staring at me, and it was kind of weird. And then the bus stopped and he told me to get off and that I should film it, and I was like, why is he telling me I should go and film it? He's like, because you're Claire from Claire's Itchy Feet. I was like, oh my god. And then he announced it to the whole bus, he outed me.
And then the whole bus was talking about Claire.
Like, oh yeah, I know you. I was like,
she's famous. Claire is famous in Guatemala.
Apparently so they were all very nice. It's very funny, but he did keep on sneakily taking pictures of me. So if you're watching this video, which you may well do, I saw you taking the pictures. Good morning from Eagle's Nest in San Marcos. So I'm here and it's pretty early in the morning, and I just wanted to show you around. So just here in this little cabin is where we've been staying, and then this is the al fresco kitchen. Has everything you need to cook, and it also has an amazing view of the volcanoes, although you can't really see it right now because it's quite misty. Then if we go just over here, this here behind the bush is actually a shower. You have the yoga platform down here. They're just doing a little bit of work to extend the roof. So we have the shower here, and the best part about the shower is the amazing view of the volcano, and it also even has hot water. So you might be outdoors, but you're going to still have some comforts. And here we have the incredible yoga platform. The best thing, of course, about this platform, apart from it being outdoors, which I love, is that you have this incredible view of the volcanoes. So over here we have the cafe, which is closed right now. It's only really open when events are on. Or if you request something. So I think for me, probably my favourite thing about Eagle's Nest is just everywhere has this view of the volcanoes. Whether you're sat in the bathroom, whether you're practicing yoga, eating your dinner, waking up in the morning, everything is designed to have this view. It's amazing. It's my final day today with half travel. So sad. So I'm just waiting for the boat and for Selby, and then we are going to head over, like in this direction, to a place called San Juan, which is where we're going to meet some of the women from the weaving cooperatives. Really excited about going to San Juan because I've never really explored there properly, and hopefully can do some shopping. And then after San Juan, we're going to this place, which you can just see over here, which is San Pedro. I lived there for a while, so probably going to move through there pretty quickly. And then after that, we're going way over here to a place called Santiago. It's going to be my first time ever visiting Santiago. I've never been there before and always wanted to go. As you may be noticing, the main way to travel around Lake Atitlan is by boat. It's very easy, you just hop on, when you get to your destination you get off, and then you tell them where you got on and pay. Super easy. It is possible to go by road, but generally it's not recommended. The roads aren't great and sometimes it can be a little bit dangerous. San Juan is somewhere that I never visited when I lived in Guatemala. It always disappointed me that I never made the time to go. However, making the decision to travel there with Heart of Travel this time was a really good one. They were able to take us to the best places and introduce us to some of the most incredible women who are running these cooperatives. I don't always advocate for needing a guide, but in this case I was very grateful that we did. I felt that we were able to access the work that is being done in the community on a much deeper level than what we had have done if we'd have just been travelling there alone, wandering in and out of places. It was especially fascinating for me to get to see the women's weaving cooperative. Now, the first time when I lived in Guatemala, I actually made a scarf using the backstrap weave, and it took me 2 days and I felt like my back was literally going to break. So I already had an appreciation of how much work goes into creating the things that they are weaving. However, we also got to see the entire process, from dyeing the materials, spinning the yarn, the whole thing, and it was really very interesting, and highly recommend taking this tour. So we've just been into one of the weaving cooperatives. We didn't film too much in there, filmed some of the process but not the actual goods, because it's really important not to, because people are stealing the designs. They're very old traditional designs, they're hand done by the women here, and it's really important to support them and their culture, so they ask you don't take any photographs of the products, which is totally fair. Everything that's made in there is handmade, and each of the labels, it will tell you how long it took to make, who made it, and then the price. The prices are really fair, really reasonable. So if you're going to come to Guatemala to buy things like this, then come to a place like this and pay attention to how long these things take and the talent and skill that's needed to make these things. Also, you can guarantee the quality here. There's 2 different docks in San Pedro, one of them that goes direct to Santiago and the other one which is just over here, and that goes back to San Juan, San Marcos, then back to Panajachel. Okay, so there are a few things that you should try and see if you go to Santiago. The first is the most beautiful woman in Guatemala. Well, actually, this is her stand-in. Apparently, the most beautiful woman in Guatemala is now semi-retired and lives in peace in another village. But what you do is you can go there, and if you give her some money, she will show you how to do her headdress, which was really fascinating, and she was very, very sweet. Another really interesting thing that you can do in Santiago is to go and seek out the Mashimun. This is a person who, maybe like a shaman, people go to maybe if they need some luck for something, if they are going for a job interview, they would go to see the Mashimun to be blessed, basically. This young guy, we believe, was about to travel somewhere, so that's what he was going in. Now, you may notice in the background that the thing that people bring for offering is Coca-Cola, rum, and often cigarettes, I believe, as well. Very interesting. That was Santiago. We're going to get on the boat now to go back to San Pedro. And then from there we will take another boat over to San Marcos. But if you want to go direct to Panajachel, there's another place over there which takes you direct to Panajachel. So the market was pretty cool here. There's lots of places to shop. The quality is much better in San Juan, so if you're looking for quality textiles, quality clothes, and don't mind paying a little bit more for it, buy your things in San Juan. Over here in Santiago there's more variety, but some of it is a bit of a mix between the handmade stuff and the machine made stuff, so it's much cheaper, and you're gonna have to haggle at the market here. They're pretty tough, but remember, don't haggle too much because these people have to make a living. So I'm back in San Pedro and I'm just overjoyed to be back here actually. This is where my adventure started. This is the place where I came when I first moved to Guatemala. I stayed here for a month with the Mayan family while I was learning Spanish, and I decided to start my day here in San Pedro the way that I always used to start my days when I was living here, in Ideal Connections, which is a cafe. It's kind of like an internet cafe. There's plug sockets everywhere. They have really good Wi-Fi, but more importantly, it's an Italian bakery, so they have amazing bread, they have really good croissants, and the best coffee in San Pedro. So you just finished walking around San Pedro. A lot has changed, but also a lot hasn't. So right now I'm in Fifth Dimension, which is a vegetarian restaurant. And while I was living here, everyone was always telling me that I needed to come here, and I never made it. So I'm really happy that I finally did. The food looks great. The prices are reasonable as well. And it also has a really lovely view over the lake. So I've arrived at my next destination. It's just up the road from San Marcos, at a place called Sunina, and this is a tent or a yacht, and it's in an incredible permaculture farm, I suppose, which my friends Julia and Joel run. It's called Casa Curativa, and you can come here, you can stay, you can learn about permaculture, lots of other things as well. So one of my favourite things about this place is how much wildlife there is around, and just all the beautiful plants. Like every morning I've been sat here drinking my cup of coffee, watching the hummingbirds coming and drinking their like honey water. out of that. It's just so peaceful here. I love this space that Julia and Joel have created. I don't want to leave. It's just magical. I had a consultation with Julia yesterday because I have an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, and I was diagnosed with it last year, and it's been really full on. It's been a lot to take in, and so after kind of a few months of processing, of coming on the medication and kind of my hormones starting to level out again, I realised it was time to start to tackle my diet and lifestyle, and this is just the perfect setting for that. And Julia's just incredible, and I completely trust her. So she's sending me away with some tinctures and some lists and some resources, and I have to go away and clean up my diet.